Hey everyone, this is Sally, and I will be entering medical school, thankfully, this August 1st, 2022. And I remember this time of year last year while I was applying as this kind of buffer period where I had already finished all my secondaries, but I was just waiting for interviews, but the season hasn't really ramped up yet. And I think this is a great time to start to ease into the interview prep process. And I kind of just went back to what I did during the process, and hopefully some of these tips and resources will be helpful for you. So those are actually all of the questions that I had in a Google Doc, and I just answered them all. And it came out to be a little over a page single space, so it wasn't anything too crazy. And I want to share with you guys, since I have my laptop here, some of my answers to these questions, kind of like the shortened version of it. So greatest accomplishment, I put mine was being financially independent from a very young age. And greatest weakness is dealing with validation from my peers and especially from authority figures, and that causes me to tend to not trust myself sometimes. And then greatest strength, I don't tend to fixate on things out of my control. Let's take the MCAT for example. I felt like I didn't get a very desirable score, but that was not something I could change immediately, but I still wanted it to apply. So I was kind of optimistic in that sense, where I felt like my application had other things to offer and I could focus on other ways to improve my application. For example, I could focus on my interview skills or showcasing what I did during my gap year rather than just like feeling doomed by the MCAT score. And this last question, what makes you unique? I think chances are that people who are answering these questions is not going to be a unique answer, but it's better to be authentic to why you think you are unique than trying to come up with something that is not authentic to yourself. So just go through these questions and answer them as honestly as possible. And if they don't really relate to medicine, that's okay, but it is kind of a process of getting to understand yourself, and that will make you way more comfortable when you are interviewing and you don't have these notes to rely on. After you go through general questions about yourself, you also want to go through your application and recognize some of the shortcomings that you might be questioned on during interview day. And this includes things like GPA, MCAT score, lack of research experience, lack of clinical experience. Maybe there was a record on your undergraduate application and things like that. They may or may not question you, but it's just good to have an answer prepared just in case that they do. So once you get that interview invite, you should go on Student Doctor Network or Reddit and figure out what type of interview style the school does. Is it open, closed, MMI, or one-to-one? And there's going to be some common questions that the school asks, and you should prepare the answers for. And it would also be helpful to do some research on the clubs you would like to join, the professors you might want to work with, and their research that you want to get involved in. And also, one very important question is why specifically you want to attend that school. And hopefully all of that information helps build a very nice framework of how you will approach that interview during interview day. And I didn't do much prep beyond that because I felt like getting to know myself with the general questions and then kind of attacking some of the questions that the school might ask gives me enough things to work off of from, and I didn't want it to be too over rehearsed and practiced during my interview. So I just kind of went in with this framework. That wraps up on how I approached my medical school interviews, and I wish everyone who is applying a good luck to this upcoming interview season, and see you next time. Bye-bye. strawberry flavored.